Hello everyone and welcome to Rosebank Farm and Garden. In this video I'd like to talk about seeding in your garden. There are no hard and fast rules about seeding in the garden, but it is a very important aspect in anyone's garden. Now seeding can be as functional or as fanciful as your imagination. Seeding can be used to draw visitors into your garden room or entice them to go down a path. Your seeding could be tucked away and secluded and very private, or it could be the focal point in your yard. The color of your seeding is also very important. You could have a bright pop of color with your seeding, or it could be painted a dark green or a black to blend in with the surroundings so that your garden takes center stage. There's just one thing to keep in mind when you're choosing your garden seeding, and that is you want it to flow or blend in with the main style of gardening that you have. So for example, I like mostly a cottage style garden with some formal elements. So if I were to choose something that's very contemporary or modern, it would look very out of place in my garden. Traditional pieces would be seating made out of concrete or wrought iron, which I do have a lot of. So let's take a tour and talk about some of the functional and fanciful seating that I have in my yard. First up is the garden swing. I absolutely love this swing. Spent many hours here when I was a child. This is my grandparents' home. This slab underneath, let me back up here. The slab underneath the swing, my grandfather poured this because my mom, my aunt, and my uncle would swing so much they made a big mud pit under here. And so my grandfather poured this big slab of cement, which is really nice. And the swing is in this big catalpa tree that's right back there. So we enjoy this a lot. Let me show you some other seating. If we just pan right over here, here's functional seating. I have spent many an hour sitting on the top step of this staircase up into the trampoline, so that the little ones could jump on the trampoline and I would be right there. So that's another example of functional seating. So let's head over here to the outhouse and let me show you some fanciful seating behind there. So I call this area the secret garden. It's not very much developed, but it is a very shady, cool spot. It's also where we have our name path. My family's names are on the stepping stones. So anyways, I'd like to develop this more into a secret garden, natural playground. But here is the fanciful seating I wanted to show you. This little bench we got at Rogers Flea Market, not very far from here, and I really love how cute it is. We originally bought it for the pool, but nobody ever sat on the bench up at the pool. So I brought it over here, and it's just cute, fanciful. It could serve a purpose of having the children sit there while they're playing, but there's not that much to do here, so it just kind of sits and is just a very cute little fanciful bench in the landscape. Heading back towards the house, the next seating area I want to show you is this wrought iron bench. So this wrought iron bench has roses on it, which I absolutely love, and it is placed to be a functional piece. Directly behind me is the tree house, and this bench, my neighbor suggested that I put it here so that we would have a place to sit besides the steps, my other functional seating, while the children played up in the tree house. I just love it because on either side of the bench there are terracotta pots full of the Super Tunia Vista bubblegum mix that I just love. So I'm going to turn the camera around and sit on the bench so you can see the view. So 2 people can fit on the bench comfortably. A couple more could be sitting on the steps, and we can be watching the children while they're playing up in the treehouse and having our own nice conversation right here. But yet we're close enough to jump up to help any little one come down the slide. It's a very fast slide. So this is a good spot. The next garden seating that I want to show you is actually up in the treehouse. So let's go up there now. Yeah, we're going to go up and take a look at the bistro up there. Well, I'm up in the treehouse. My neighbor's little girls were playing up here, and they wanted a table and chairs. And I said I'd have to go buy some. And the little girl said, well, what about those ones? And I thought, she's right. These would be perfect up here. The little girls can climb up here and play, or it's very nice to come out here in the evening with my husband. I have little fairy lights wrapped around the railing all the way down, and they come on at night. And so it's just a little magical spot up here. Plus the children enjoy playing in their house. So again, the wrought iron of the bistro set lends this more towards the cottage feel and cottage style that I so love. Next up on the tour is this little cement bench. It does serve a purpose. The concrete lends towards a more formal feel, but I love it because it has a rose design on the top. Oh, look at that. Isn't that just so subtle but so pretty? Okay, so I positioned this bench so that I could see the children climbing in the magnolia or over towards the trampoline, and I would be sitting holding the babies on this bench. So let me sit down and we'll look at the view now. So this is my spot. I could watch the grandchildren climbing in the magnolia. This is the tree where my children learned to climb, and then my grandkids have learned how to climb a tree in this. And I would sit here and hold the youngest. But now I really get to sit here and enjoy the view. Let me zoom in. This is an area that I've been working on this summer, and I just love that view with the arbor to the new path, and then the freestanding birdhouse. Oh, it's just so pretty. I'm really enjoying my yard this year. And then, of course, there's the swing. We are down by the barn, and y'all are gonna laugh at this one, but I have a bench from an old picnic table so I can sit and talk to my pigs. This is bacon and eggs. So here's bacon and eggs. I brought you girls a treat. So I had grabbed a couple pears off the ground to give them a little treat. You guys have been swimming in the mud. Must have been a warm day today. So anyways, my grandsons painted this bench for me because they know how much I love pink. Anyways, I'm on my bench. I can see my pigs. So functional seating. Yeah. Another option for seating in your yard could be a place to take a nap and just relax for a little bit. And this hammock is a favorite spot of everybody, including the goats. My Sugarloo will get up there in the hammock with me and chew her cud. Here's another example of a seating area in my garden. The air chair on the left was the original chair, and it was hard to hold a conversation with someone. We didn't have any additional seating around, and the person laying on the hammock behind the tree, it was still hard to talk to them. So I had the idea to add another air chair to this space, and it has been wonderful. You can see we really enjoy sitting here and being able to talk to one another, and also the person on the hammock isn't left out because the air chair on the right, that person is able to see around to them. So it's really been a nice area for us. Garden seating can also double as art in the garden, like with this butterfly chair. I had first seen butterfly chairs at the Stan Hewitt Mansion near Akron, Ohio, and I just loved it. That's like the kind of art I like in the garden. But anyways, it's very comfortable to sit in, and it adds that art look to my yard. I love it. This is my view over my hayfield. We just got our second cut, and it's not much because of the drought we've been having, but at least we'll get a few more bales. But this is my view. I just love that horizon. And you can see this from the hammock, from the air chairs, and I'm sitting in my butterfly chair. So peaceful. In this area of my yard, we have this old spinning chair. That was my son's. We have the 360 teeter-totter and another flea market find. This one moves around to wherever the conversation is, but it's also a relaxing chair to sit in, and it rocks a little bit, so we enjoy this very much. Here's another example of a wrought iron piece. This is a peacock chair that I also got at the Rogers Flea Market, and this sits in my garden. Now, you wouldn't usually think about having a sitting space in your garden. Usually it's go in, harvest the food that you want, get out, or it's a very much of a workable space. But my husband likes to sit there and talk to me while I garden, and sometimes when I need a break, it's a nice place to sit. So we do have a seating space in the garden. The last functional seating area I want to show you is this little patio area with our chimenea. My husband made these benches from an old oak tree that fell down in our horse pasture, and he also made the table for us and the other little bench. This is where we have our s'mores. There's a table underneath the grapevine where we put all our the graham crackers and marshmallows and chocolate, and the children can sit at the picnic table, but we're able to sit on the shorter bench and cook the s'mores right there in the chimenea. So functional seating. It doesn't quite match the other cottagey feel I have in the rest of my yard, but I feel like with the rustic grape arbor and the pizza oven being very rustic, I think this area is just its own little space, and I love it. It's different, but it adds to our overall enjoyment of the yard. I hope you enjoyed this video about seating in the garden. Just remember, there are no hard and fast rules about seating. You just use your imagination and think about harmonizing your garden style with the seating that you choose. Anyways, please subscribe to Rosebank Farm and Garden, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!